We are about 20 minutes behind time. Unfortunately, we had a technical emergency this morning, but we are all sorted out. So we are kindly asking for your apology, for you to accept our apology for the delay. So we're going to go ahead and then get started. Before we get started, God has made it possible for we to keep this show running. So we're going to start off with a little prayer. So if we can bow our heads for a little prayer for the start of the program. Father, Lord God, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for bringing us together. If we can, we ask you, Lord, that you will come and be with us throughout this program and help us to be able to assimilate and understand so that all of us can benefit from this program. We thank you, Lord, those that are still on their way coming here, those that are online. Lord, we ask you to be with them so they can be able to get what is being taught here today. Thank you, Lord. We bless your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to jump in and introduce our speakers that we have up here. So our mentors that you're seeing up here, this is for information technology. We have a lot of people, but these are our mentors that are representing us today. And to my left here, I have, one second. I don't want to call people's name wrongly. I have Mr. Michael Akrofi. He is I think technical team is supposed to have us up there, but we're working on it. We have Mr. Michael Akrofi. He is Agora IPC software analyst with Schlumberger. And we have Mr. Dennis Chesa. He's also a data scientist with American Bureau of Shipping. Mr. Dennis, can you wave so we see you? And we have Mrs. Edwina Boy. She's also PCN/OT cybersecurity. Am I saying it right? My own friend here. Yeah, that's Edwina Boy for you. So they will be speaking to us in regards to information technology. We're going to start off with Mr. Michael Akrofi. Thank you all so much for making time to be with us today. All right, Mr. Akrofi.
Hello, good morning. So my journey into IT has been a little rocky, but I think I'm okay. I started from Kofredwa Technical Secondary School, where I did electronics and electrical engineering way back in Ghana. And after completed my SS or senior high school, I did not do well in my physics class, so I didn't get opportunity to enter university. So I went straight into the Polytechnic. Lo and behold, I did mathematics and statistics. And my lecturer who taught me computer science, I was really close to him. He was lucky, got the green card lottery visa, and then came to Arkansas. And after completing my HND back home, I went and did my national service, and I worked with the VAC service as a statistician. Whilst working there, the guy had a computer school under the VAT service area. So I was closely monitoring him, going back and forth with him, and then he came to the U.S., to Arkansas. After that, I got opportunity also to come to the U.S., and then he hosted me and my wife in Arkansas. So it was through him that he encouraged me to do IT. So while I was with him at Arkansas, he was working as a cashier with Walmart. So he got me linked up with Walmart too, and we were all working the same job as a cashier. Then he told me that, hey, we can start something, because we had this IT background. He was my lecturer, and I said, okay, let's see. So he got a consultancy firm, got some contract jobs with Bank of America, and he was working, fixing their ATM machines and other stuffs. So in doing that, I also helped him with his contract jobs. While I was doing that, he was a little older than me, so he said, Mike, you need to go to school. So I said, then I need to do IT, right? He said, yes. So he introduced me into a school in our area called Arkansas State University, where I did information systems and networking. I was there into my classes, doing well, doing everything. And one day my head of department called me, hey, you are doing well. So I have this project in Little Rock. That's the capital of Arkansas. So let's go and then do it. We went there. I met the CEO of that company. And then after we finished the contract, he called us to the office. And he said, hey, I think you are good. You have something in you. So I have another job for you guys if you can really knock it out. I said, okay, why not? So what we were doing, we were just doing some contract works, just back and forth, back and forth. Whilst I was doing that, I was still taking my night classes at ASU, or Arkansas State University, for my associate degree. Along the line, I completed my associate and then transferred to a bigger college called Harding University. Since I transferred some credit from back home in Ghana, I was straight. They just gave me admission to do my master's in IT. So I completed that, and then while I was looking for a job, I came to Houston. And then through that, I came here, worked at HISD as their on-site computer desktop support on campus. And then through that, I got a job offer at Salombaje. And I've been with the company for 3-4 years now. During COVID, they laid us off, and after COVID, they called us back. To me, there are a whole lot of opportunities for young kids like you who wants to enter IT. It's an interesting career, a lot of opportunities for each and every person who doesn't have even knowledge about IT. But there are two things. Like the young guys here who wants to do IT, they have the best of opportunities to be able to enter IT because one, whilst in high school, they can take a program called A+. The A+ is a CompTIA networking class for guys who wants to do IT with no experience, or you can start taking the classes whilst doing your high school programs and all those things. But for me, who entered the system after 30 years, came in when I was 30, I wanted a shortcut. I couldn't take that class because I thought, hey, it's going to slow me down. So I did my associate, and then straight up from my associate, straight up to my master's degree. But since I had some credit back home, it really helped me to do that. But my encouragement for young kids like you is, if you really, really want to do that program, first, whilst at this level, the high school level, take the A plus certification, because IT is all about what? Certifications. I have my network CCNA certification, which I got it some years ago. And through that, it's been really, really, really beneficial to me. So the little that I can say is, one, take the desktop support and the A plus certification, network certification. There are a lot of certifications you can take. It depends on what you want to do and where you want to get to. Right now, I just finished my cybersecurity. I think my lady over there can talk much about it with Coursera, Google online certification, which I just completed like a week ago. And I know there are a whole lot of opportunities with cybersecurity. So I want to always encourage guys when I get opportunity to talk to them to, one, take advantage of the system. Talk to some of us who have really dealt into the IT, like what you are doing now. Ask questions, and we can really direct you on what to do. Thank you. If along the line you all have any questions on how to get to any level or where to start, you can ask questions and then we can direct you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akrofi. He had about 10 minutes to talk about, these engineers in IT. They just are so prim and proper. So thank you so much, Mr. Akrofi. Again, my name is Reina Boatin. People don't know my other name, but I'm also Abigail Boatin, and I'm a SHRM certified professional. Thank you again, Mr. Akrofi. Next, we're going to have Mr. Dennis present to us. Mr. Dennis is a data scientist. Also, a few housekeeping rules. If you do have any questions, you can go ahead and then send it to the email. We're going to put the email up there, and we can attend to these questions as they come in. Actually, at the end of the session, we're going to have a question and answer. So if you do have any questions, you can put them up there on my online viewers. You can put it in the email or you can put it in the chat. And then for our people, our audience here too, you can write down your questions. And then at the end of all the sessions, we're going to have answers to them. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. And you're all welcome to this talk. I am Dennis Chesa. That's me there. And I'm a data scientist. Anyone knows about what data science is all about? Give me a raise. Ever heard of that? What it? Oh, good. Oh, okay. A couple of us. Nice. So I'm a data scientist, and from the name itself, data science, that tells you I deal with data, right? I play around with a lot of data. That's just my typical day is being on the computer, getting to a repository, picking up data, doing a lot of messy stuff with it, and getting the results that we all do cherish. A little bit about my background. I am from Cameroon. Cameroon, that's in West Africa. Not really West. I know Ghana, you say, hey, look, we didn't see Cameroon in West Africa. It's kind of Central Africa. Yeah. I like identifying as West for other reasons. So from Cameroon, that's in Central Africa. And I started off by, when I graduated from high school, I wanted to be a gynecologist. That's my childhood dream at the time. But when I went to university, in Cameroon where I was, getting into the School of Medicine was easier to get through the eye of a needle than to get into med school over there. So I rapidly had to rewire my brain and change my priorities. Then I went to the School of Education, which my competitive entrance exam, I went and read mathematics there. I graduated with a Bachelor of Education in Mathematics. Then I transitioned to a 4-year university. I got some credit from that College of Education, 2 years credit. I did 1 year credit, because bachelor's degrees are 3 years in Cameroon, and I'm sure that's the same in Ghana. I transitioned there where I did a bachelor's in mathematics and computer science as a minor, mostly software engineering. Then I started teaching mathematics in Cameroon. I taught for a couple of years. And then I thought I wanted to study further. I've always been the kind of person, the nerdy kind of person. So I went for a master's degree in mathematics. First of all, mathematics education. But in tandem, I was doing a master's degree at a polytechnic, School of Engineering. But at that point, it was in applied statistics. So I was doing a master's, dual master's. Master's in mathematics education, one in applied statistics. Well, because I wanted to route myself away from academia as much for some reason. So I stayed there for some time, and then while doing those, I graduated. And then I had a friend. My plan was being, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, an actuarial scientist, an actuary, the risk management. That was my plan. That's why I did applied statistics. But before the year ran out, I had a friend who was in the United States. He calls me and says, hey, why don't you come teach in the United States? And I'm like, seriously? How do I teach in the United States? I'm in Cameroon. I'm in Yaoundé trying to make ends meet. I'm studying. He says, yeah, you can come teach in the United States. You're a certified teacher. Send me your resume. I'll send it to whatever, there's a consultancy that was bringing in teachers and skilled workers and things. So I sent him my resume. And before I knew it, I had a correspondence from that organization. And they were like, yeah, that was for the state of South Carolina. We've sent your resume. The board that translates everything. I say, yeah, you're qualified to teach middle and high school here, highly qualified, as they call it. And I say, yeah. They said, do you want to teach? I say, I don't mind doing. I would like to do that in the United States, anytime, any day. So I was flown in here by them. Then I started teaching. And I was a mathematics teacher in the high school in South Carolina. Anyone heard of Myrtle Beach? Okay, yeah. That's where, I was in Georgetown, that's 30 minutes away from Myrtle Beach. That's where I was teaching. I taught mathematics there for about 4 years. Then I decided to come to Houston, because at the time, my fiance at the time was in Houston. So I came here, and yeah, when I came here, I was like, oil, right? Oil was the big thing. I'm gonna get into oil and gas. So I started taking some courses to get into oil and gas. Then there was a slump. The market went down. I'm like, uh-oh, caught me on the rails. So I had to reroute. I'm like, where do I go next? Then I had a friend who said, hey, I'm doing Linux. IT, because when we talk of IT is this broad spectrum thing, right? IT is not one thing. IT is like someone can say, I'm studying science. What does that mean? It means nothing. Mathematics, is it mathematics? Is it biology, chemistry, physics? That's a broad spectrum. So he said he's in IT, he's doing Linux and stuff, and he's making he's comfortable, he can pay his bills, he can pay his mortgage. And I'm like, that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to pay my bills and pay my mortgage. And so, not that I wasn't doing that, I was a school teacher, but I could do that better maybe. And I'd always wanted to get into computer science, the world of data and everything. So he told me, then I started researching. Then I researched, and lo and behold, a friend called me from Minnesota. We're all the College of Education in Cameroon together. He said, man, hey, Dennis, what's up? I'm doing software engineering, and now I moved to data science. I'm a data scientist. I work for Synchrony Bank, and it is quite comfortable. So I'm surprised, why are you still in academia? You're still teaching. I say, yeah, I'm teaching. I'm a mathematics teacher in the high school here in Houston. So you could do data science. I know you were in school together. You were so good at math and all of that. You could be a good data scientist. And I'm like, what's data science? And with all my masters in math and things, I didn't even know what data science was. So I went into research, and I ran a few queries on the internet and stuff, and I found out what data science is. It's kind of a confluence, right? It's like the intersection of economics, mathematics, statistics, and from economics, that's business. So to be a good data scientist, you have to be good in mathematics, which is what my brother here was. You have to be a good statistician, and you have to have good business knowledge. And then there's computer science. Don't get frightened by that. Everyone can do it, but you have to be ready to excel in those different categories. And that is how I sought to know where I could do data science. And I did a little bit of research. Not many universities were offering masters in data science. I already had multiple masters from Cameroon, so it was easy for me to. When I came here a couple of years ago, I sent my resume to Wes. I don't know if you know Wes. Those of you here will not know West, but those of us who came in here, we know West. Western Education Services. They had to translate my degrees from Cameroon and gave me very high GPA for an equivalence for a regional university in the United States. So when I sent my resume, I was immediately given admission to Texas Tech University in Lubbock to do a master's in data science. They run a 2 years program for that, but I was teaching full time, and I was a golf coach as well. I was kind of doing two things in the high school. So I asked them, can I accelerate that program? Can I do it in 1 year? They say, yeah, you can accelerate it. There's an acceleration route, but it's gonna be so demanding. And I said, I'll do that. So I literally did not have a life, right? That was in 2019, 2018, 2019, 2020. No, 2019 to 2020. I finished teaching, I rushed to the library, Lone Star Library, studied there till the librarian will come, sir, we are closing now. That's when I'll wrap up my things because I had a lot of stuff still pending to study. And I got done with that. I graduated, I got done with it in a year's time, and it was excruciatingly painful, right? Like I had to deny myself, I had to deprive myself of so many things just to dedicate myself to that. But it's rewarding. I left teaching. Now I'm a data scientist, which is what I always wanted to be. So I don't know if you've heard of the expression, data is the new oil. Has anyone heard of that? Data is the new oil? Okay. You know how oil used to be the big thing, right? The biggest companies in the world were oil companies, oil and gas. Well, there's been a paradigm shift. Now data is now acting almost like the oil because data, there's a rush for data, and data carries in it a lot of value that companies are trying to extract. And when they extract that value, just like oil rigs extract oil, when they extract that value carries a lot of monetary benefit. They can optimize their decision making, they can optimize their chain of production, whatever they're doing, and that comes a lot of remunerative interest. So data science, we're probably going to delve much into that as we move on. But yeah, there's a lot about it that you may want to learn when you ask your questions. So that is me, and that's how I got to be a data scientist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. I also want to know about data scientists. What do you do? So next we have Mrs. Edwina Boy. She is a PCN OT cybersecurity. As you can see, I don't know what that means. So she's going to let us know.
You want me to explain it now or somewhere down the line?
It's up to you.
So
thank you.
PCN is basically process control network, or you may sometimes see it as ICS, which is industrial control systems. Basically, a process control network or an ICS would be like the systems or the network that are used to automate a control process in our critical infrastructure. So a critical infrastructure can be something like a power plant, an energy plant, oil and gas industry. It could be the health sector. Those are critical systems because they touch lives, they touch people. So basically how we automate these systems and control them, the process that is being used is what we call an ICS or a PCN. And OT is basically the convergence, or when we kind of have our IT in our business network converge or interact in this PCN environment. So basically, I kind of sit in the IT and process control environment, and I do cybersecurity. So my job is to make sure that the people who work in our platforms, in our offshore and onshore facilities, get home safely to their families, because they deal with chemical products, they deal with oil and gas, they deal with a lot of things that when the bad person or the adversary gets into that environment can cause like a catastrophe. They could die on those platforms. So as a cyber engineer, my daily job is to make sure our systems and tools are secured, so no one from the outside can come in and attack our systems. My journey, well, I have 16 years of work experience with 10 years in the cyberspace. My journey into IT, well, growing up, I was a chatterbox, but now I think I'm no more a chatterbox. But so I wanted to do law, and that was always what I wanted to do. So in secondary school, all the courses I chose were courses that would get me into the law degree. But in essence, I had one of my headmistress who kind of was pushing me to do science because I had a strong science and math kind of background, but I didn't want to do science. I stuck to economics, geography, and art maths, And then in the university, I applied for law school. And then a friend of my dad came and said, oh, there's a new school that came out called Valley View University. So why don't I also apply to that university? Back then, they were just offering business, administration, computer science, and theology. I looked at their business administration and I saw some law in there. So I was like, okay, let me just choose that because I didn't think I was going to go to Valley View. I knew I was going to go to the schools I had chosen. But unfortunately for me, my letter from Valley View came in first. And my parents didn't want me to stay at home. So I went, and unfortunately, they didn't give me business administration. It was computer science. And I was not happy. I told my dad, no, computer science is not what I want to do. We went to the head of administration. I told him, this is not what I want to do. I want to do business administration. And he's like, well, I see a potential there. So you just go try computer science. If you don't like it, you can always change it. So I went in there. There weren't that many female in that class, so I thought I wasn't even going to make it. But I did it. I liked it. I did internships, worked in IT industries, did networking, did systems administration, got an opportunity to come to the US, furthered my education, wanted to do my master's in computer science, which I did. And while in school, the school I went with, we do have internship with these big Fortune 50 or 500 companies. So I got an opportunity to work with one of these companies, and the opportunity came for me to join them. They gave me a job offer after my internship. So I got in there and was to do networking, but I told them I didn't want to do networking because they were then starting a cybersecurity team. So I kind of poached myself in the cyber team, spoke to the cyber manager, and he took me on. So I joined the cyber team, and I stuck with cyber till now. Cyber, I say, it's a male-dominated world, so sometimes it can be intimidating if you're female. Secondly, intimidating when you're black. And so you have to have some grit. You have to continuously learn because you meet your male counterparts and you might feel you do not know that much because those guys are smart. So you need to constantly be learning because technology is constantly changing. And what cyber attack we had in the 50s is not the same. The attack pattern is so different. So it's a constant and continuous learning phase. And as young ones, you have the brains, you are smart enough, and I feel technology is everywhere. So even as young as a 5, a 3, or a 6-year-old can even start learning something in technology. So if you have a kid who is interested in gaming, you can channel that gaming into enrolling them. If you have that, there are lots of free online tools that you can channel that gaming potential and have them write their own codes, learn coding. And that is going to be an introduction into the IT space. So basically, we are here to answer your questions. And well, for me, I want to see more girls in the PCN, actually PCN OT space, because cyber, we do have different branches, but in the PCN OT space, it's more like a carved niche, and there are not many women in there. So if you're interested, there's a lot of opportunities in there because we have a lot of critical systems, and we have attackers attacking them every day. So if you're interested and you want to join us, you can always come over and ask me your questions.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Boy. Wow, that was a lot of gibberish she was speaking there. Trust me, I don't understand what she's saying. But these are our information technology mentors. Thank you all so much. At this time, we will just take a few 5-minute break. And then we're going to bring on board our engineering mentors. We do have some coffee and snacks in the back there. So we'll just take a quick 5 minutes break, a 5 minutes bathroom, whatever you have to do. And then we'll be right back to continue with the engineering session. Thank you all so much.
or certifications. Those certifications are quite expensive.
Yeah,
So
I can imagine. I can imagine.
normally,
And they needs to have them.
yes.
They must have.
Um, so for me, I would say if you do not have a degree puts you in the
Okay, I
door.
get it. I get it.
So if you do not have a degree,
Then you need something else.
then you need something
Yeah,
else.
to
Yeah,
show that I
to
can
show
do
that
this.
I can do
I
it.
get it.
Yes.
I get it.
So you do control systems?
Yes. That's interesting.
Questions, and then you
That's what I thought. You are logical that way.
I think after the break we should.
then,
Yeah.
okay.
We should have been consistent.
Maybe he wants all the questions to
Other questions to be done.
Harmonized.
harmonize so that
Because I don't see a time when all 6 of us will be, I don't know how many of us are here.
yeah. So probably they can you can hand back
Oh, okay, to
the
answer. Oh, I get it. Okay.
so that they know where the questions should be channeled to. Because if we ask that questions right now, it's going to take
Okay, that makes sense too. Yeah, yeah. So they hear about every expertise and now, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's better you go in and answer questions and some extra is going on than yeah, because questions, they could ask questions that we could not yet see. And then experts don't end up going up there. Yes, I was choices. Very good. As a matter of fact, I consider studying like that yeah, even that divergent is in a way, yeah,
But you can still learn that and have it like up your sleeves because your data you also have to find a way of securing that
exactly,
data. So,
exactly that infrastructure,
yes.
wherever you find.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
So yeah, cyber is cyber touches everything.
Every, as just like data centers, pretty much, every industry, every level there is in this era, you need to be sense of that, yes.
the reflexes.
I remember when I said I wanted to do that,
So that was a, sorry to cut you, that was a good mistake, by the way.
which one?
The computer science mistake where you were put into that, and when she was finding out that, I hope she didn't succeed to change an option.
I actually succeeded there because
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person who doesn't like failure.
I see,
I'll prove you wrong.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of in the beginning it was a little hard because you get into the class and the boys are like, oh,
Yeah, I know,
already
I know,
programming.
yeah, I know,
Then you
that's
ask
true.
yourself, where am
Will you
I?
get there?
And
Will I
then
be on par? Yeah.
you
It'll be
write.
intimidating.
There are times I write like you write exams and then I start crying.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
What happened?
I know, I know, I know exactly what it feels like. Because I was one of those people who because from childhood,
It's that. Yeah, you should do this. Exactly.
Draw a butterfly all the parts.
I asked myself, where is it?
Draw a hand.
What is it?
It has a very much code and secretly out. I'm like, this is them
You
without
have to learn all the parts.
thank you. And then things are
Irrelevant.
we have real trouble at all.
Just, I don't know. We stuck with the same education.
Yes, yes. No, that's true. Just like the same bad ideas, unfortunately.
I remember back in school, one of my lecturers, like, he's exactly the same thing. He gave us a question, and I looked at the question, I was like, the question is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And how's
But in the past, it's been answered.
and many back to back come down.
And I'm saying it's wrong. He's like, what do you mean it's wrong?
Yes, you're looking at over the years, so you didn't even know the point.
Oh, this question doesn't make sense. No matter how you solve it, you cannot.
Was it here or there?
It was in Ghana.
Yeah, and it's hard to they don't want to take corrections. Thank you. They don't want to take corrections. Yeah.
Especially in front of the class.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. Looks like even though we started late, but we're still on time, so we thank God for that. Um, so the mentors you see up here now, these are from engineering. Trust me, there are lots and lots of people that wanted to be up here, but we couldn't just, put everybody on here. So these are our engineers representing us today. We have Mr. Ebenezer Nyako. He is a senior field process engineer. For Enterprise Products LLC. There we have him on the screen, process engineering. And then we have Mr. Edward Selassie Agbakpe. I got it right for the first time. And he is a pilot with United Airlines. He's also into cybersecurity. But yeah, engineers, they can do a whole lot. And then I have also Mr. Mike Okine. He's also a founder and field operations manager for Guiding Light Engineers and Surveyors, right? Okay, I got it right. I know on our poster we did have Mr. David Akwe to also represent engineering for mechanical engineering, but he had an emergency this morning. There's been a lot of emergencies, but we thank God that we still have these men to represent engineering. So thank you all so much, Mr. Eben. The mic is yours.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Eben Nyako. I'm a process engineer. Let me break it down. I'm a chemical engineer. All the way back in Ghana, I went to Ghana Secondary School. Right from Ghana Secondary School in Koforidua, I went to KNUST to do chemical engineering. Right after that, I used to work with a couple of companies, but I don't know. I ended up teaching in the Polytechnic as a lecturer with my first degree. I know my stuff. So they put me there. So I taught in the Polytechnic for almost 3 years. And then, lo and behold, an opportunity opened for me to come to the United States. So I got to United States, everything was in chaos and in tatters. But I find myself teaching again. I went back to teach in the high school. For a year, I was teaching, I think they were using me to teach everything science. Mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. And after 1 year, I didn't like the students were mean. They were mean. So sometimes they were not mean to me, but they were mean to some other teachers that get me so infuriated that sometimes I want to do something I don't want to do. So I decided to get myself out of that way and get back to my engineering. So I applied for some few schools. I applied for MIT, University of Maryland. I was looking for a scholarship. So I don't care which school. Once I get scholarship, I'm good to go. And then I had admission in Ohio, schools, full scholarship, and then putting in place to work for the US Navy as a researcher. So I said, hey, forget about MIT, let me go. So I moved from Maryland to Ohio. So my study was like 4 years. Even though I took 1.5 years to finish the master's program, I was still under contract with the US Navy. They were paying my tuition, they were giving me stipend. That was good. So once the program was done, they wanted me to roll back to do PhD. I said, no, I'm done with learning. My brain now, I had 2 kids, man, I got to feed them. So I'm not ready to learn again. So I moved to Houston here, no job, no anybody. I just travel, just move by faith. That's why we are here in church. And then I moved here without knowing anybody. Fortunately, like it was the plan of God one way or the other. So the day I got to Houston, I was trying to call a friend to tell him, hey, I moved to Houston, knowing nobody. Oh, he said, I know somebody here. So he gave me a friend who was a colleague of mine in Kwame Nkrumah University. And I said, hey, man, don't sleep in the hotel. I got some place for you. Fortunately, that same friend was the friend that led me into oil and gas industry. As a chemical engineer or a process engineer, we kind of a broad spectrum. We do manufacturing, we do oil and gas, we do pharmaceutical. It's like all over the place. So you are not limited to one place, but here in Houston, it's just oil. So once you get here, you step into the oil and swim in it because it's good. So I work with this company. I've been in the process engineering for almost my stay here in Houston, 10 years. I used to work for a company called Gulf Interstate. It was EPC company. When I say EPC, it's an engineering, procurement, and construction. It was purely mechanical engineering group, but I have a little bit of, as an engineer, it doesn't matter where they put you. Engineer, you can function almost everywhere. So I was doing mechanical engineering and also as a process engineer. Process engineer, what you do, like I said, we do design. Before, let me use jollof rice so that we can sink into it. Before somebody want to do jollof rice, they need rice, they need oil, they need tomatoes. Now, to get a very good jollof rice, the quantity and the portions of these things has to be set in such a way that you get the best of jollof. So as a process engineer, I will sit down and design. You need 2 cups of rice. And when you are cooking the 2 cups of rice, this is the temperature you need to cook it. This is how you need to tune your temperature. That's where my sister comes in, the controls. So we give them the processes, and then they fine-tune the processes to make it very optimal for whatever we're looking for. And at the same time, we do a lot of economic stuff. Because before you can put anything, you can cook jollof, you have to know how much you're going to spend. As a process engineer, I do that much economics. The equipment you're going to need, right? How much oil and how much profit you're going to make at the end of the process, because it's all about making money, right? So currently I work in the oil refinery. It's an LNG refinery. We take what we call Y grade. Y grade are the leftovers from the oil drilling. Normally they used to flare it, but now we capture those things, compress it into liquid, right? And then reprocess it, break it down. So the Y grade, as I said, it comprises of, I don't know, most of you don't like chemistry. It's called propane, ethane, and butane, gasoline. All these are combined in this LNG. So my job is to separate them. To separate them, I need towers, I need compressors, I need turbines, I need pumps. So all this equipment is my job to design. If I want to push maybe an oil from here to here, what kind of pump do I need? I do all the calculation and I give it to the mechanical engineer to build the equipment. So chemical engineering is integral of all processes. You can't start without the chemical engineer. And it's a very good profession. It's never dying profession because it's broad. You can work in the pharmaceutical, manufacturing, everywhere. So I just want to tell you guys, those that want to venture into engineering, please love a little bit mathematics. Because mathematics gives you, it's easiest. I always tell my kids that mathematics is the easiest subject. But they don't like it. It's 1 + 1 can never be 2. It's always 1 + 1 is 2. They are principles. Once you stick to the principle, it's easy. And then it opens your mind to think beyond the box. Right? But now, every kid you ask, I want to do psychology, I want to do sociology, I want to do logic. All the logics you read, and logic. But engineering is an expansion of the mind, thinking deep, bringing processes and optimizing them that will make sure people live good. Safety is a key. If a chemical engineer, if you are not very conscious of safety, you are not a very good chemical engineer. I just want to end here. And if you have any questions, ask me. I have tons of answers for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenyako. And then next we have Mr. Edward Agbakpe. Let me say it right.
Thank you very much. Is it okay if I break protocol and stand?
Do.
All right, thank you very much. I'm so uncomfortable sitting down talking. Good morning, all of you. I know you have received a lot of a brief on professional areas in the medical side. Now we are talking about engineering. But there's another cool area of profession that I want to introduce to you as you think about what you want to do with your life in future, and that is flying. How many of you wondered or thought about how an airplane flies? Can you tell me? All right, we'll talk about that. Can you imagine how such a heavy metal with a lot of people inside is able to defy the law of gravity and launch into the air? Isn't that amazing? I think that is cool. How about if you are the one sitting in the cockpit, really launching that airplane into the air? You'll be the coolest guy, right? I think so. Anyway, so I'm going to tell a little bit of myself, how my journey started as a pilot, and I'll tell you some of the pathways that are available here in the United States, and a little bit of challenges here and there, and how you can prepare yourself for it. I was really fascinated about aviation very early in life when I was a young boy, at the middle school, high school. I actually wanted to be an astronaut, not a pilot. Back in Ghana, my dream was to be an astronaut. And that dream started when we had a little study about astronauts, Neil Armstrong and all those guys who went to the space and the moon. I was like, that is cool. I want to be there. I want to be one of them. And my dream really was to, once in a while, go upstairs, go to space, spend 2 months, 3 months, come down, come and visit, interact with humans, and go back. So that was my dream when I was young. When I got to middle school and high school, I discovered that, well, it's not going to be an easy dream because opportunities in Ghana are very limited. What will I pass to become an astronaut to start with? I don't really know. But I had a dream to fly, so I kept that dream alive. I remember in high school, I had a friend who is now a cardiologist. He's also called Salasi. My classmates were very close friends. And we had this white shirt with an epaulet and the pocket, just like the pilot shirt. So we call it pilot shirt. And occasionally, it's a special shirt we had, the both of us. And in Ghana, in middle school, in a boarding school, you dressed in trousers, brown trousers, and a white shirt to go to dining. So occasionally, we would plan that today we are going to wear our pilot shirts for dining, because we call ourselves pilots in middle school, in high school. So we did that a lot. And along the way, I did science, and we were conscious in selecting our subjects because we wanted subject that would lead us into flying. Then after high school, I saw the opportunity to join the military because I could be trained by the military as a pilot. The Air Force was recruiting officers to commission as pilots. I was like, that's me, I'm joining. So that was how my journey started. Joined the military back in I think 1999, thereabouts. Became a pilot in 2001, and never looked back ever since. Had all the experience and the adrenaline pumping moments in the military. Had 2 combat deployments. Had all my close to call moments. And I think, yeah, they were fun. Until I came to the United States. Then I decided to join the airlines. So now I work in the airlines as an island pilot. Well, the pathway to get into be a pilot here in the United States, there are, let me say, about 3 main pathways. One is what we call the Part 61, which is more like a part-time sort of thing. So you are working in other fields of profession and you want to be a pilot, you can get yourself enrolled in the flying schools available who are certified to do Part 161 training. And you can take the training at your own pace at various phases of training. Whenever you're ready, you get the check right down, get a certification, take a pause, get some money, and move to the next phase of training. That is one. The second pathway is what we call the Part 141, I think. That one, it's more like enroll into a school, maybe a college sort of. So you get enrolled in that school, and you do all the training right from the beginning all the way to commercial pilot level or instructor level or ATP level, and then you leave. The third pathway is doing flying training alongside your college that you get enrolled into. There are aeronautical universities around. One of them I remember is the Embry-Riddle University or Embry-Riddle College. I think it's in Florida. It's regarded as one of I think people call it the Harvard of the sky. So, I mean, that should tell you the level of that university. And there are other universities. I think one is in North Dakota and other areas. So those are the 3, at least, the 3 main ways that you can get yourself into flying if you have the interest to do. But the most important thing is that you must have the passion to fly, because there are challenges along the way. If you don't have the passion, you might, fall out of the way. Having said that, we can look at some of the challenges that are associated with the job. The biggest challenge is the cost of training. It's quite expensive. Various organizations will do the math and say, oh, it's more expensive than training as a medical doctor. Others will say, oh, it's a little cheaper than training as a medical doctor. I see it as maybe they are just around the same, depending on which school you go to. But, I mean, that is how we can equate the cost. It's quite expensive, and something that if you want to do, first of all, you must be committed to it, because if you're investing money in it, then you must be ready to go the full length and reap that investment. And it takes a bit of time to get to the level where you can reap the investment. So those are some of the challenges with it. When you become a pilot finally, you find out that you're going to spend a lot of time away from home. And if you are the type who doesn't like traveling a lot, that is one thing you need to consider, that you're going to be traveling a lot, so you don't want to be that guy. The other thing is what I call regulation hurdles. We work with a lot of regulations, company policies, airplane, operating manuals, procedures, FAA regulations, and you have to make sure that you work within all these regulations at every moment in time, and that can be really stressful, considering the fact that the environment, the flight environment in itself is stressful, because you are getting, sometimes the weather will be angry at you. There are a lot of traffic around you. There's pressure for you to take off on time. You have to work within the regulations. The airplane may develop some fault along the way, all that. So it becomes stressful, which means that you have to be physically and mentally resilient to do this job all the time. There's no space for you to break down and want to call for mommy, daddy, that kind of thing. So you have to be ready for that. But it's a cool job. And with time, you get used to it, you toughen yourself, you toughen your skin, you can do it, you enjoy it. I think another thing I would talk about will be the fact that there is, somebody asked me, I get a lot of people who ask me, so what is the prospects of being a pilot? And I think there's a lot of prospects, because currently there are a lot of, I'll call it a scramble for pilots. A lot of airlines are looking for pilots in all directions. There's a lot of pilot shortage, and they're looking for pilots. And what the strategy the airlines are deploying now is to start setting up their own flying training schools, so that they'll catch them young, we catch people young, get them through training, help them to progress all the way till they can get to the flight deck. So I mean, it tells you that there's a lot of prospects when you decide to become a pilot. The last challenge I want to talk about will be building the experience. So by regulations, when you become a pilot, before you end up in the airline, the Federal Aviation Authority wants you to have a minimum of 1,500 hours of flying experience before you can be hired in either the regional airline or the main line. No, in the airline, they are in two parts. We have the regional airline and the main line. The main line are the ones you are very familiar with: Delta Airline, United Airline, American Airline, Southwest Airline. Those are the big guys in the system. And then the regional airlines are they are more like subcontractors of the main lines. And what they do really is, the United States is vast. They have airports in every, city and every small village. But the traffic that goes into certain areas are not that much. We have people, maybe 50 to 80 people flying out of a city. You're not going to deploy a big airplane that carries 150, 200 people to that airport. So those small airports are fed by the regional airlines. And the main airlines contract them to feed the small airports, so that the main lines can concentrate on the bigger airports where there are a lot of traffic, a lot of passengers. So when in the progression in the airline industry, usually people come from wherever they are coming from, maybe as instructors or flying, chartered. Some people do chartered flights. So coming from that environment to join. So they first coming into the regionals, build a little more experience, and then they get a chance to move into the main line. So that's the progression. When you train as a pilot, it's the difficult phase of it really is building the time. That 1,500 hours takes a bit of years to do that. Maybe 3 years, 4 years, and that's the difficult phase of it really, because you need to get yourself into a company who allow you to fly and build a time. Usually what people do is that they become instructors and they get employment in another flying training school, and they train students, and that creates opportunity for them to build a time. It doesn't pay a lot. But when you finish and you move into the airline, that is when you start reaping, how they call it, your investment. But I can tell you, it pays. It's a good job. So you can, as you think about professions, think along this line as well, and you will enjoy it in future. I'll pause here, and then when question times, you can ask questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edward. Wow. I didn't know that much went into piloting. So with Mr. Mike Okai, we're going to go a little different. So he's going to have some stuff up here. He's field operations engineer. Mr. Mike, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. You're welcome to the first ever engineering mentoring program. My name is Mike, as you can see. I am a telecom field engineer. I have started a small engineering firm where I pretty much train other people to become like me, and I deploy them or get contracts from bigger engineering companies. And my team members and I do engineering design and so on. So, how did my journey start? I was a boy who was very, very interested in what I would call the medical sciences. I wanted to become a doctor or a pharmacist, but my dad thought I would be better at engineering. So back in Ghana, they kind of decide for you. They kind of say, nah, this way you're going, this way. So I was pushed into engineering. And looking back, I have not regretted it. It's been fun, it's been nice. I started my schooling in Ghana, and then I came to New York, to Binghamton, to continue my education and become an electrical engineer. But right now, I practice as a design engineer in the field of telecom. So I want to take this opportunity to challenge everyone that any one of you sitting here can also be an engineer. Please, can you put? So, why engineering? Why should you consider engineering? Okay, a lot of us have told you, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. Here are some of the reasons. It's challenging, as some of the mentors said. It would broaden your horizon. It would help you, even if you may not end up being an engineer after studying engineering, but it would broaden your mind so much that you would be so versatile and be able to go into other fields or do other careers. It's multidisciplinary, as you would say. The pay and career opportunities are great. You can be whoever you want to be as an engineer. I've posted a website on there that the organizers can give you where you can do more research into the various areas of engineering. There are other things I want to touch on. For instance, you may wonder, okay, engineering, what grades, what must you learn, what must you be interested in today to become an engineer tomorrow? Well, as Eben said, you should focus on mathematics, you should focus on science, you can focus on geography, economics, whatever you're doing today, please put all your energy into it, your homework, whatever you're doing, do it really well, and then the opportunities will present themselves. And if you get good grades, you can go into any facet of engineering that you like. Here are some of the traditional engineering disciplines there are. You may choose to become electrical, software, chemical, data, robotics, health and safety. You could become chemical engineer, alternative energy. There are so many disciplines in engineering today that anybody can go into. So again, all you guys need to focus on today, as I said, is your grades. Challenge yourself. You may not like math, before now, but you know that's a path. That's one requirement you may need to become an engineer. So I encourage you to be more interested in mathematics and science and other physical sciences, and that would help and guide you into engineering. A lot of us, including myself, did not think I would be operating a business today. But I went into engineering, and through engineering, I have become a small business owner. Okay, so here are some of the things you could become after you've gone through engineering school. You can become a researcher. A lot of us here want to be YouTubers. Here is your opportunity. Go learn engineering, and then if you become an expert in something, you can teach it on YouTube or TikTok or any social media that you choose. So the opportunities are endless. But what would you teach if you don't have anything you have been trained in? So if you're interested in any of the careers the mentors have shared, take the time to do your homework, study, ask questions, and we can guide you to any field that you like. Okay. Okay. One thing that separates you guys from your mates or your colleagues in school is your desire to be successful, or the encouragement your parents and friends and brothers have been telling you to giving you the encouragement to study and pursue a certain degree or a certain discipline. Guys, you have to put some energy into it. Whatever you are doing, please do it well. Okay? There are things that people who win do versus things that others do. Okay? To be successful, you have to probably read more, ask questions, be curious about other disciplines and other career opportunities. Because today you're 11 or 12 or 15, very soon you're going to be 18 and you're going to be deciding on a career. So take these things seriously whilst you grow. All right? I would not say much. I will leave room for questioning. So again, my name is Mike. I am a small business owner in the field of engineering. If you have any questions on how to become an engineer or a business owner, let me know and I can help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okai. Well, I think they deserve some applause. Don't you think so? Look at all these great and big men. And they left their, whatever they have to do. They left the air, they left their oil refinery, they left their businesses to come and show you some of these opportunities that are available to you. I think they deserve better. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We just want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors today. Okay. So if you have questions. Okay. So we're just going to run straight into our question and answers time. There is a mic right here. If you have a question, You can just raise your hand and then we will bring the mic to you. Online, if you have questions, you can put it in the chat. We're going to check on the emails as well, if any questions have come through. And I know some of you are wondering, they are talking about they had their masters, they have their whatever, and you don't even, trust me, I didn't know this when I was growing up. So let me just take a quick few seconds to educate you about how the learning process is like. The degrees. If somebody says they have a bachelor's, it means that they finished their first 4 year of college. And then after you finish, if you want to further, that's where you go into mastering. Mastering means that like you are really becoming special in something. So where you have your master's in something, and that takes up to like 2 years. 2 years maximum. Some people do like a fast track, like 1 year. Yeah, 1 year, 1.5. And then after that, then you go for PhD. PhD is like the highest degree. And those people, I salute them because it's not easy to get to that point. Any questions? I saw a hand right here.
I had a question for the first group of professionals. For the A+ certificate, did you guys take a course and then take the test, or just practice for the test and then take the test?
So with IT,
Yeah, we're going to have our IT mentors join us real quick.
So with the IT, it's about certifications. I have a master's in information systems. But when you graduate with a master's degree and you come to the field, one, they will still ask for your certification and your experience. So young guys, I always tell you guys, whilst in high school, you can start taking your certifications. Like I was telling you, you can take your A+, that's the basics. And there are a whole lot of information of A+ certifications on YouTube. There's a guy called Professor Mesa on YouTube. He has a big channel on IT, networking, A+ certification, a whole lot, which is free. And YouTube should be your friend, right? So, whilst, like, before even you get to college, that's whereby you know that, oh, I want to delve into IT, right? So in doing that, you can still take the advantage, learn. It's a self-paced examination. And the certification is around $200 or something. So even before you enter college to do, let's say, business and computer science or all those things, that's if you really know that you want to take or you want to delve into IT. At least the basic things, because now, when you look at, let's say, Indeed, you can, let's say, pull out Indeed, let's say, want to do into IT. They look for certain certifications first. They say, oh, you should have your A+, your network, your security plus, and so on and so forth. But to be able to understand, it's a build-up. You see, to be able to jump into it, the basics is the A+ certification. So you take that, and it will broaden your knowledge and everything. And you will get that encouragement from that if you pass to move forward to take your network plus, your security plus, and or whatever you want to do. Okay, I hope I've answered your question.
Well, to also add to it, there are also books out there that you can also study, and you can also sign up to Udemy. Udemy has quite a lot of courses, and sometimes they even take you to the practice test. So you can sign up to Udemy and you can learn a lot of these skills out there, and then you can also get those hands-on experience. So I think in the IT space, in addition to the certification, like young ones like you, when you're going into the job market, you need to also show like an experience which you might not have, but you can start your own home lab. You can start a lab at home. If you are interested in networking, just log on to Udemy. They'll teach you how to set up a lab at home. You can use that as a project, even way before you get into the university. You can play around with networks. You can play around with firewalls, switches, because all of those skills are what you're needing in the IT field. So just, I think the information, with IT, the information is out there. You just have to go searching for it, and you can just make it in the IT space.
Thank you so much. We're going to take one question from online, and then we'll come right back to our audience here.
Okay, so this goes to Mr. Agbakwe. I say, is going through the military as you did an option in the United States?
Yes, it's an option. I've met a lot of guys who went to the military. And first of all, if you went to the military, you could go to the military as a pilot, which is a very big option, because then you would have left the Air Force already trained as a pilot, coming straight to the airline. So there are a lot of U.S. Air Force pilots that are in the airline that I flew with a lot of them. Some are even on reserve. They are reservists. So occasionally they go for duty and they come back and they join us again. So those options are there. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to take another question from our audience.
When talking about engineering, like, if you were to explain it to a fifth grader, I'd say, what would be the basic explanation of what engineering is?
Let me take that question. It seems like we had an experience a week or two ago. I have a group of engineers that I take to the high school and the middle school to talk to these people. And the kids have no idea what engineering is. Basically, for a fifth grader, what I would tell them is taking what is available and probably changing it to something that will be more beneficial to people. So whatever resources is available, whatever you have in your hand, you also to think to add value. Maybe fifth grader will not understand that. To make it more useful and more beneficial. So anything, whether in raw state or semi-finished state, what can you add to that very thing to make it more valuable than it used to be? So engineering will take whatever is probably not useful and bring it to a point of usefulness.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eben.
Fifth grader, an example would be when you flip the light switch, like the light switch at home. You just flip the light switch and then you had light. But it was the engineer who sat down and designed how that switch was going to interact with the power grid to give you power. So the engineer is the one who makes it possible for you to make life easier for you. So when you flip the light switch, it's the engineer who made that possible to get light. When you sit in your car that has these electronics in there, it took an engineer to put those things in that car to get the car moving from A to B. When you go to the gas station to pump gas, it was an engineer who thought about how once you turn that lever on, gas gets into your car. So engineers touch every aspect of our lives. So anything that will make life easier for humans are basically done by engineers.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Boy. We have another question from the audience.
So for the second group, what is so for the second group, what is like the process of starting a business or engineering firm?
Thank you so much.
I guess this question is directed at me. Well, I did not. It's a wonderful question. When you are driving on an interstate, you see a lot of buildings. Anything, any signboard, you see any advertisement, including this water, anything, any material, the clothes you're wearing, anything that your eyes can see was probably started by somebody. Someone. Could be you. It could be her. It could be you, Mary. Anything in this world was thought about by someone. So engineers think about things and they wonder, how can I turn piece of paper into something more beneficial? Okay, if there is something you're interested in. That's why I go back to your own interest. What is it you're interested in? What is it you're trying to achieve? What is it you're doing at home in your garage and you don't have the answers to? You need something, you need one little thing to make something really big. So you start thinking, then you talk to your friends, and then you go online, YouTube and TikTok, and you see how other people are doing things. You're like, oh, okay. Then, so it starts from a thought in your mind. It starts from trying to solve a problem you have or someone has. So in my case, I got to a point where I was looking for work-life right center, and I couldn't find a proper job. So people would only contract me to do jobs for them, not a real, position. And it was, like doing gigs here and there. So I thought about, okay, how can I be of value to these companies? So I saw a problem of these companies needing engineers trained, but they did not want to go through the process of training them. And I had a bag of knowledge, and I said, okay, so I could go online, recruit people, show them what I do, and then send them off to the companies and say, hey, here are these guys, they're trained. So I became a small business owner by solving the problem the bigger companies had. Okay, so what is the problem you want to solve? What is it? Think. You may not have the question today, you may not have a problem today, but tomorrow as you're walking around your neighborhood, or you're in school, or people have problems they need solved, and you can be the problem solver. Thank you.
Okay, I want to channel something in. You asked about the procedure. Okay, so most entrepreneurs start with a thought, like my brother said. When you have a vision, make sure you put it down. What is the problem that you want to solve? What is your target group? Right? So sometime as an entrepreneur, you might have all these things, but within your dreams, there's infused other people's dreams who have more expertise to bring whatever you're thinking into reality. So as an entrepreneur, there are businesses you can go alone, but there are businesses that you need to get people who already have foreknowledge of something for it to come to reality. So once you have the thought, something that you think can benefit people, because people always want to find solutions to something. They don't know how, but the thought will come to you, put it down. Read a little bit about the problem that you've seen. If there's nothing, there might be a way, some way, somehow, that you can add, asking questions, talking to people, not telling them that this is what you want to do. Because don't put your dreams out there too early. Until, this is me, until it comes to fruition, I don't tell people, right? So the process is that when the thought comes in, write it down. The next step is, what is my target group? Who can be of help in bringing this to a reality? That is why we have investors. Maybe it will be too capital intensive, which sometimes pulls a lot of people away from their dream. Get people that can help push this dream. Do you watch Shark Tank? See, people have ideas, but they don't have the resources to push it to where they want to push it to. So once you have your dreams written down and you make it concrete that this is going to solve problem, there are so many people there that will bring it to reality, to your benefit and the benefit of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyako. So just to touch base, they're talking about business. I see how the conversation is switching from engineering to business. It means it starts from somewhere. But if you have questions on how to start a business, we're going to have a session where we're going to invite a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're going to come here, and you can ask all your questions on how you're going to start a business. But it starts from somewhere, what you want to do, and channel it into a business form, okay? I see a lot of hands here. I'm going to go ahead and then read some of the questions that we have coming into our emails. Okay, so I don't know who this one is going to go for, but it says, can you share experiences where professional development or your path specifically greatly benefited your career? So I guess it goes to any one of us. Can you share experiences where your professional development or your path specifically greatly benefited your career?
Yeah, I can take that one. Professional development and I'll look at this from a multidisciplinary way. I had a background in mathematics, right? I was a mathematics teacher, and then I eventually wanted to get into AI, artificial intelligence. And one way, if you want to get into artificial, and you guys know about artificial intelligence, right? Yeah, self-driving cars. You get to maybe Amazon. I don't know if you shop on Amazon or maybe TikTok or whatever. You watch one video, and then videos of that same nature keep populating your, So all of those are done by, that's enabled by data scientists, right? Machine learning expert. Maybe I stand up. That's enabled by data scientists or machine learning experts. You get to Amazon maybe. I don't know if you guys have Amazon accounts. You buy one thing, and then they tell you, people bought this, also bought that, right? So they're trying to pitch something on you to buy it as well, because that's what data scientists do, right? They program those things. So, and it kind of needs knowledge of STEM. You all know what STEM is, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. So me having a background in mathematics and being in the school system at the time, wanting to move from the school system into artificial intelligence or, the data, the world of the universe of data, my mathematics background helped me a lot. So it kind of helped me. And remember I told you guys, I took a 2 years program, did it in 1 year while teaching full-time, working full-time. That's because I already had that baggage, right? That mathematical baggage. So I could easily, what people would have struggled to understand, because underlying all of these things is mathematics. The best programmers out there, they don't have to be, but if you have a good mathematical understanding, it develops your critical thinking, right? It develops your ability to look at things. You don't just take things for face value. You ask why. That's the nature of mathematics. Why did we say x plus 1 equal 2? Why do they want me? How do I get x? Why do they say subtract 2 from both sides? Stuff like that. So you always ask, why am I doing this? Proof in geometry, for those of you who do geometry, say, prove this. That's why. Why am I moving from this step? So it kind of develops your brain to be a critical thinker. And as a consequence, that becomes you, right? You and that critical thinking person, you are inseparable. So wherever you go, whatever you study, that's what you carry there. And me being so good with mathematics and everything, that helped me easily move into data science. So that helped me easily study what, and I went into the program with so many other people, some dropped off. They could not handle it, and they were full-time students. But I was doing full-time teaching in the high school. I was doing AP mathematics, for those of you who might have done that. And I was doing an accelerated master's in data science. So my background helped me easily excel into the field I was moving into. I don't know if that addresses that question, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chesa. I saw a hand in here.
How do you know which engineering job is best for you?
What engineering job is best for you?
Yeah.
Okay, is when you say job, when we come to job, people look at two things. They look at passion and money. Okay, so I used to like business a lot. And Ghana, you don't have the choice to do whatever you want to do. So they say you are good, so go and do science. So they pushed me into science class. Along the line, I had wanted to be a businessman, learn business, because it's something I felt is an inbound thing. I started selling, and I know the nitty-gritty of marketing a little bit. But as to determine which engineering is best for you, depends on your passion, right? Like I said, people get to things that they don't like, but along the line, they begin to love it, right? I personally wanted to be, when I was shifted to engineering, I wanted to do mechanical engineering, but there was a hindrance. The hindrance that I know I can probably have to work extra hard to overcome. I didn't like technical drawing. Engineering, we draw a lot. And when they say, look at the bottom and see, oh man, I can't see anything. So at the point that I said, man, this is not, let me go and do, I'll do 1 year of a semester of engineering drawing, and that will be over. Even that semester, I struggled. I traced. They say we should not trace. I traced. I didn't care. Because I know the other course I'll be okay. So if I get 50 here, my average is still going to be okay. So it's passion. And you have to do a lot of study. Here, you guys have so much opportunity to dive into all this kind of engineering. And one thing you have to do, people get into jobs and they get disappointed. Why? Because maybe they are not being paid well. Maybe there was a hype, right? So look at where, study, take a time and then go through all these things. Are you looking for money, or are you inspired to change something? But at the end of the day, the enumeration is also important, but the passion will keep you at the job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans.
If I may, can I add some? IT, can you put the various engineering? Good, thank you. So as you can see here, by the way, this list is up to 12. It can go to 100. It's vast. It's really vast. So you have to be, you were born, we're all special. We're all born with a light in us. A light that must shine. You may not know exactly what you want to do now, but once you graduate college and you go to the university, you will take your prerequisite courses, your general education courses. You may take a class in, one class in engineering, maybe a course in a physics class, or a course in biochemistry, or a course in even calculus class, and that might spark a fire in you and say, I do well in math, so I'm gonna go into data engineering and become a data engineer. And in the future, you could be an AI scientist. You understand? Right. Or you may be interested in geology, study of the earth. And end up becoming a mining or geodetic or geological engineer. So it all starts from you. People go through college and still, one may go through and pick one of these, go through it, go through 4 years of school, get an A in all the classes, and graduate and say, I am a mechanical engineer, but I'm not interested in it. So on the other side of the board, you could become an engineer and then go into something else. Perhaps you realize that, hey, I want to be a lawyer now. Your engineering background has broadened your horizon to go into patent law, where people would develop, let's say, this microphone. Whoever developed this microphone has to send it to the US Patent Attorney's Office and gets a patent on the microphone. And so you would be sitting there in the office, say, okay, this mic, checks this box. It's, you've taken all these engineering principles into consideration. There might be some clauses in the US law that this mic must follow. And that you being an engineer, you're gonna have the knowledge to scrutinize that patent material or paperwork and say, okay, let's give him a patent to manufacture this mic and sell it, or this mic does not meet the specifications, and so we are not gonna let the person, and you do fantastic as a patent lawyer, okay? So the opportunities are endless. Study hard, and you will find something that you're interested in. Thank you.
Let me say something really quick. One of the advantages of engineering is that you are not limited in any direction. I remember vividly, Barclays Bank, the chartered whatever head is my mate. We did chemical engineering together. Almost we were 48 in class. Only 3 of us are practicing engineering. All the rest are bankers, lawyers, and so engineering, even when you go through the first degree, does not put you in a bind. It still gives you access to go beyond what, because along the line, you might not even like to do it again. And then you want to divert into something in IT or something else. So it gives you the opportunity to go into other disciplines that probably along the line you might develop interest for.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nyako. We're going to take another question from the audience.
So with
what's your name, please?
Oh, my name is Darren. So with software engineering and the whole hemisphere of coding, I wanted to ask what you guys think of the self-taught route versus the college route. Since now in the age of like the internet, there's a lot of classes where on YouTube you can find the full Harvard and Stanford coding class. So what do you think is better with self-taught or going to college for coding?
I'm hearing some parents saying he's going to college.
I will always advise to you guys, at least, the self-taught classes. Since you are youth now, high school, you think, oh, let me do it the self-taught way. But it's really, really difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really difficult. I always tell guys, hey, just go through the first degree. At least you have a degree. Because when you get into the corporate world, you get there for some time, you want to climb up, right? When you have a degree, it helps. Because you're not only tailored towards, let's say, something like, you did not even learn just one subject. Because the self-taught things on YouTube, I do it. But in my case, I have a degree, I have a master's. So when it comes to certain positions at my workplace, I have an advantage. Let me tell you this. My immediate boss doesn't have a degree, if not even a first degree. He completed high school. When it comes to certain things like papers, I'm on vacation now. He still calls me to do certain stuffs for him. Why? Because I could see he's lacking something. But because he's been working for the company for like 25 years and stuff, he has a long-term experience. I've been being with the company for, like 4 years. But to me, I think I have something he doesn't. That's why sometimes he calls me, oh, Mike, can you do this? There's people, can you do this for me? Right, so I'll encourage you that right now we are in the technological world. You can, like the self-taught learning, you think, hey, there's a short way or short pathway to be able to get this done. But please, you might have something, a certification or something. You think, oh, but on the job market, you might see, I think if I have done the college, gotten my degree, it would have helped me, propel me to go higher. So I'll encourage you, if you can, whilst learning, do it hand in hand. Learn the YouTube channels, the IT channels, and I do it whilst taking your college classes seriously because it's going to help you, right? So don't do the short way or don't cut it short.
I'd also want to add something to it. So the self-taught, the boot camps, and all of those things will give you the shorter path into IT. But those will just give you entry-level positions. The degree is what is going to give you more experience because the degree puts you at a higher level than the entry-level person. And there are lots of job openings with the degree where you can get in. Also with a degree, once you're in school, you can build a network because most of these companies come out there for career fairs. They come out there to recruit from campuses. So the degree gives you an advantage into the job market more than your self-taught or the boot camp. And once you are in the company, you who went to get a degree would gain or earn more than someone who has a certification. So I would say go the college route, still learn on your own, because what you learn can be like a side project, which you can add to your resume during your application. So don't throw that away. Still do your self-taught, build projects, use that as a hands-on experience while in school, go to career fairs, network, and you would get the foot in the company more than someone who just did the boot camp and just did the certification.
And maybe to add one thing to what they've maybe to add one thing to what they've both said, if you look at Mark Zuckerberg, we all know Mark Zuckerberg, right? The guy who created Facebook. We all know Bill Gates. We all know Steve Jobs. Do you know who Steve Jobs was? iPhone, right? He's a creator. All those guys are dropouts. They did not even have the patience to finish the second year of university. But at least they went to university, right? They went there. They were so smart. They probably did a lot of self-studies like you're doing right now. But the fact that they went to a conventional regional university, challenging ones, Harvard, MIT, and the likes, that gave them some structure. That took away from them maybe the inferiority complex. When you've never been there, you can't even think what people will go there think. So you kind of keep thinking that you're coming up short, even when you're just on par with everybody. But the difference with them is they created something. So if you want to be the guy who creates and runs your company, like our brother said there, you don't need anyone's approval, right? You don't need 25 years to grow to managerial position like our brother's boss took that much to grow to. You're creating something. And a lot of problems in the society, those problems are opportunities for any creative mind. If you have the mindset of creating things, you can take all the problems we have, it could be anything, and then say, hey, I've studied a lot from YouTube, from Udemy, from wherever. I'm going to think of how to solve this problem. Then you become the boss of people who have PhDs, right? You start employing those of us who went to school and studied the masters and the PhDs because you had a light bulb moment in your mind to solve a problem and you envisaged how to solve it, and we may not have thought in that direction. So what you're doing is good. What everyone here is saying is good. But if you think it still pays to still get into a university And if you think that that idea in your mind that you studied by doing YouTubes and the other is overarching, it's like, then you can now pursue that as an entrepreneur. And that will be better still.
All right, just want to add a little bit. There are two main qualities in the professional world or in the corporate world. One is the technical knowledge, and the second is your leadership qualities. Leadership and ability to build a team. The self-taught programs are not going to give you that leadership quality. You're going to learn your leadership quality in the university. So the university is designed not only to give you the technical knowledge, but also to groom you to become a leader as you grow. And that is what the corporate world also looks at. Do you have, when it asks of you having a first degree, the essence is not that they are just looking at first degree. They want to be sure that you have gone through some level of training such that when they employ you, you can progress in the ladder to be a leader, because they are looking for leaders. So when you don't get yourself for that training, if you've not been to university, you shortchange yourself. You are not able to groom yourself to be a leader. And then opportunities will come in the job, and you'll not be able to get those opportunities because you didn't prepare yourself for them. So that is very critical. So technical knowledge, critical, but you must also train yourself to be a leader. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I just wanted to add, maybe some of you didn't really understand what I said when I said I was a SHRM certified professional. I am an HR. Currently, I don't do recruiting as a trade, but I have done recruiting before. And guess what? If I am recruiting for a position, guess who I'm gonna get? Somebody who can really show me that, yes, I've actually been to the school, and it is an accredited school, and yes, they have been well trained. I'm not just gonna pick anybody. And let's say we come to a tie with somebody who did, what do they call it? Boot camp. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to go through all that and find out who taught you that. I just want the best, and they have something to prove for it that they actually went through the school to do the training. You get it? Yeah, perfect. So we're going to take, I know I saw another hand right here. I'm going to take one question from our email.
Just let me just add a little bit before you continue the question, please. There was one thing I didn't talk about. I think I should just talk about it. When you are getting a job in the mainline as a pilot, you think you're just going to fly, but we are looking at somebody who's coming to be a leader. So apart from the fact that we are looking at your professional qualifications, your airline transport pilot license, we are also looking out for your degree. So the minimum requirement, apart from your professional license, is that you must have a first degree with a GPA, I think about 3.7 or something like that. Right. So it's that emphasized the point that ability to fly alone is not what is required. Yes, we want you to be a good pilot, but you must also be a leader. So it's just to cut it short, don't shortchange yourself. Open yourself up, build yourself up in every aspect as you can, so that you have opportunities ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And don't drop out of school. Okay, we're going to have our next question from email, and then we'll come right back to our audience again. This is a very broad one. So it says, how do you manage work-life balance in the demanding field of engineering? Have you faced challenges in balancing career and personal life? How did you overcome them? This is a really big question, and I know any one of you can attest to it, because I know we have parents, we have husbands, we have wives. Yeah.
This is very challenging. In engineering, every day you see new problems coming up. Some problems are repetitive. Others are just new challenge. As a process engineer, you go to the field or you are in your house. Sometimes they call me. Hey, this thing is messing up. Maybe a compressor shut down. And then once they call me, I say, okay, call the process guys. I call the controls guys because this is a control. They say, no, this is not a control issue. So you just maybe sometimes get calls in the church. Right? So you have to jump on. The most important thing, you have to know your staff. And you have to know where to find staff, which is very, very, very important. Even your company network, where things are, you have to have them. And most is as you work as an engineer, you know the critical equipment that you normally work around. For me, my critical equipment are compressors, pumps, and then turbines, and then the towers. I can climb all the way up to the top. I do that most often. So when it comes to that, like I always tell people, process engineers are about temperature, pressure, flow. That is all we do. So they will call you, and then this problem is kind of new. As for the operators, they are pushing buttons, run, stop. That's what they do. So it's up to you to come and fix the problem. We call it troubleshooting. And then they describe the problem. You don't understand what they are trying to talk about. So you have to figure out what the person is trying to say. Maybe they can't really describe what really happened. And then they keep telling you, and then remember, some of us have accents. So they'll say, ha, and then you get so what I would say is that first, you have to know your staff. You have to know the equipment you're dealing with. And if it's something new, it might be your feed. Whatever we're putting into has changed. The operator might not know. But once you have the data, where to look for all these things, you know, okay, this is where it's coming from. This thing has changed. So you have to change the processes, what temperature, what pressure, what flow, right? Other than that, beside that, you know, in the corporate world, there's no fairness. This is what I want to tell everybody. People of a kind look up for each other. In my company, I would say if you take like all the engineers in my area, I'm the only Kodaki in there, right? So sometimes the work that you do is maybe twice your colleagues are doing. Right? So it kind of weighs you down, but you have to have a mental fortitude, knowing that wherever you are operating, you are different, you are special, and there are certain things that will come your way that when you come home, you don't want to even talk to your children. But you have to know that it's a job. It's not the end of the world. It's a job. And also remember that whatever problem that might come at my job place, I know there's a solution. If it's the equipment failure, we can't fix it, we will buy a new one and replace it. Don't take it too personal. Like, I don't take things too personal, but I want to be more efficient. Right? When the problem is there and you can't solve it, come back home and think about it. So you have to balance. Other than that, I know some people, all their life is job. You call them, they are talking about job. You want to say about something else, they are talking about job. You lose the balance by probably losing your family. Because you come home, you open your computer. Hey, daddy, or go and do your homework. You just send them away. So it's in the corporate world, it's very difficult, especially. I don't want to be racist, but our skin color makes it a little bit difficult for us. That's what I always tell my kids. You know what? Your grace is the one that is going to speak for you. So don't mess up with your grades. Because when you go up there, the interview, you can be the best person, but favors go hand in hand. But when your grade is standing out, sometimes they don't have any choice than to give you the job. So my point is, whenever you step into engineering, make sure you do continuous learning that the Japanese do. Learn, learn, learn. Once you learn and they know you know, anytime they are coming to you, they are careful because they don't want you to embarrass them. They feel very intimidated when you know more than them. I've seen this. I've worked with the corporate. When you know more than them, it's very intimidating. Somebody will hate you for that, but that is your job. Thank you.
I think I'll add it from the female perspective because a female in engineering is sometimes difficult when you have a family. And so I think for our young ones, maybe when you start looking out for the person you want to marry, in your discussion, you need to also talk to them about your goals and your career, like what you want to do as a career, so that at least you can know that whoever you are going to be with will be someone who would work with you along the way, because you need that support system in the IT space. You need that support system as an engineer, because there are days that you would work on projects that would demand you being away for like weeks and months. Like I've worked on projects where I have to go offshore for a whole month. And imagine if I do not have a spouse who did not understand what like I do or was not supportive with the kids, I wouldn't know how I'd have balanced that. And I may have just shied away from that and may not progress in my career. So first, when you're looking for the person to marry, look for somebody who can work with you. Secondly, it's all about communication. As a female, we feel like we need to do more in the engineering space because we are surrounded by men. And with me, sometimes I walk into the meeting and I'm the only black person with an accent as well. And so I feel like I need to prove more or I need to do more. And so I find myself sometimes trying to do more to make sure that like they know that, oh, I know my stuff. But then as time goes on, you realize that you're actually the smartest in the room. You're just downplaying yourself because you're just intimidated by these men who have these macho. And so once you get to know that, oh, there's something called like the imposter syndrome, which most females have. So once you get over it and know that, oh, you are the smartest in the room, you find ways of making your work, like your life easier. As an engineer, if you have like a coding up your sleeve, you can automate some of the things you do. So if something that could take you 6 or 5 hours to do, once you find a code that can work for you, that code will just run it for like 30 minutes or an hour. So you don't have to spend that whole 6 hours doing that job. So once you work in the field, try and look for ways you can make life easier for you. Communicate your needs with your boss. Like for me, I tell my boss, if you need me to travel, tell me ahead of time, because for me, family comes first. You don't just pick a phone and say, Edwina, tomorrow we are flying, and then expect me to pick up my bag, because I need to put things in place and make arrangements. So always communicate. Don't be afraid of your bosses. If they are also there to help you. So always make constant communication, and they can help you balance your work and life as it is in the engineering space.
Thank you so much. That really balances this conversation, because we had the female view and we had the male view. Okay, we're going to have another question from the audience.
I know that most of the professionals, from what you were saying, you had different ideas of what you wanted to do before you entered university or even after you went through university. How would you deal with, I guess, the fear of changing a long-time dream of a career? How do you deal with that?
I can try that. Should I? I know it's probably going to go around. Everyone has a perspective on that. But that's a very good question. As a matter of fact, I remember when we were having offline conversations about this meeting, we kind of tangentially touched on that. So most of us, like I told you here at the beginning, I was a school teacher, right? I taught school, I taught math in Cameroon, I taught math here. I actually taught math in the United States for 9 years. I taught math in South Carolina for 4 years. I taught mathematics in Houston for 5 years in the high school. Then now I'm a data scientist, I'm in the IT world. You will ask yourself, how did I move? And even when I was in Cameroon, I told you I was doing a dual master's, right? A master's in mathematics education and a master's in applied statistics. In my mind, I always knew I'm going to move. And why did that happen? Don't be afraid to change, right? Change is the only constant we have in life. The only one thing that shall always happen, even if we sit here for the next 10 hours, things are going to change. So too should you. And the universe is changing. A lot of things is changing. Remember a couple of years back? Well, maybe you don't remember. But a couple of years back, we now go to the pump and we just swipe our cards, we pull out the whatever the lever, and we pump gas. So many years back, probably more than 10, someone had to be standing there at the pump, right? You had to give them your money or your card, then they had to swipe it or do whatever, and then pull out the thing and pump how much gas you paid for, and then you went. But now automation came, software engineering came, we could now program all of that process. That was change. And then you had to go pay someone to wash your car. Now you just drive your car through, and it is so change is the constant thing that will happen. Right now, you may think you want to be something in future. Your future may look different from this future right now. And you will have to reroute. You will have to recalibrate. So be flexible enough, be malleable. I did not know I was going to be a data scientist today. I didn't even know there was such a thing as data science. But one thing I knew, I liked numbers, right? I was good at math. I have a master's in math. So I'm good with math. I'm good with numbers. But I did not know what I wanted to do with that. One thing I knew is that being good with math, STEM, it will open so many doors for me. Just like Brother Mike said, some of the best lawyers out there are mathematicians. Because when you have that mathematical mindset, there's critical reasoning that comes with it. You can easily listen to someone's case and look at loopholes in it and destroy their case with the loopholes they had in their story they told you, which they did not even know they had exposed themselves. So mathematical knowledge is very critical, very important. You cannot turn around it. When you have that body of knowledge, STEM, mathematics, science, technology, and engineering, and you could do those at high school level, could be physics, could be whatever, build you up to be that kind of person. Then you've set yourself up for whatever the future will look like. Today, has anyone here heard of ChatGPT? Okay, with ChatGPT, let me tell you this. Previously, coders, right, programmers, they had to sit down, develop a structure, a project structure, think of how data is going to flow. It took them weeks and months, then come with an architecture, then start programming the different parts. With ChatGPT, if any of you have used it, you just have to write a prompt, right? Tell ChatGPT, hey, give me the structure or the architecture for this type of scenario. Within 5 minutes, what am I saying? Within 30 seconds, it spits it out for you. And if you don't like it, ask it to modify it or modify your prompt. It took people weeks, months to do that previously. And then now you could say, hey, ChatGPT, go ahead and fill in the first bullet. Whatever you gave me, give me the code for that. It will generate. So what I'm saying here, paradigms are shifting, right? Things are moving away from what they were. So I did not know I was going to be a data scientist. I was a mathematics teacher. I even wanted to be something else. But I was set up for whatsoever I could want to be because I was good with math, I was good with sciences, physics, whatever. Even if I wanted to do medicine, I was good for that. So I made myself available and ready to move as the society moves, to move into the new job that I may find out or that the society now says, because so many jobs going to go out. As we know it today, with AI developing the way it is, so many jobs going to disappear. So if you now in your mind, you're like, I have to be this and that is it, the be all and the end all, you may be disappointed. However, if you're like, I have to be good at math, I have to be good at physics, I have to be good at maybe, I don't know, sociology, it doesn't have to be all of those. Whatever you want to know it so well. So that if what you're thinking today you want to be tomorrow, the society has changed, you can no longer be that, or it's not as rewarding as it was 5 years ago, you are ready for whatever will come your way. And you will discover many more things. You'll be like, why did I even want to be that before? This new thing is more cozy, right? It's cooler than what I thought. So be ready, have a flexible mindset, and know that what you're thinking today, 5 years from now or 3 years from now, the society may make you think differently. And you may end up being something else which you'll be so. Sister didn't want to be a computer engineer or whatever. But by some chance, she was put into computer science. She's now one of the best cybersecurity experts in her company, right? So that's just the way the world deals us different hands. And just be flexible. The point here is be flexible. Don't wed yourself to a particular job and say that's it, the be all and the end all. Say, I'm ready. I want this type of things, but I'm ready for whatever I discover. And then you will not be surprised.
Thank you, sir. May I add, IT, excuse me, sir. Can you project my last slide, please? Okay. So to help you with the question you asked, I would say one word: read. Please read. Please read. Archaeology, philosophy, math, science, astronomy, IT. Read, read, read. And when you go to, whilst you're in high school, please drop into classes that you're interested in, or take seriously things that other people are learning. Okay? Don't be so single-minded and think that, oh, because I want to become a medical doctor, because a lot of people, I'm just going to focus on biology and biology. No, your interests may change along the way. And if you don't know the ins and outs of what a pilot does or a process engineer does, you may not see an opportunity there. Okay, IT, AI, engineering, owning a business. Please read, read, read. And if YouTube is your thing, listen. Don't just do the dances and do the funny things. Go and educate yourself. There are books there that are free. I would encourage you to read, to probably purchase and read this book, The Triple Package. It would help set your mind to knowing that the world has become very competitive. There are about 19 high schoolers or middle schoolers in this room, and there are some online, and there are some in Japan, Korea, Brazil, Nigeria, Argentina, Canada. You're all striving for the same jobs. Very soon, you don't have to be in Houston to work in Houston. You will sit in India. It's already happening. Okay, please broaden your horizon. Read, read, read. Thank you.
And I think in adding to what our brother said, let's assume you even went to college and did psychology, and you get into the job market and you're realizing, well, the ish thing now is maybe like IT or cyber. Even with your psychology degree, you can still get into cyber. Because I would say that the most or the best risk analyst that I know studied psychology. So you shouldn't think of putting yourself in one box. Even though I didn't get to do law, I get to write standards, I get to write policies. It's still in line with what I had wanted to do. So I'm still using my passion, but in a different way. So just like our brother said, just think outside the box. You can still go to school, get that, like all the medical degree, and you come out and you're like, oh, there's AI, there's this. Still with your medical degree, you can get into AI in the medical field. And because you have that knowledge on how the medical environment works, you're going to be the best engineer in AI in that field. So don't limit yourself. Just grab the opportunities and just, it's more about you. And you find your passion in everything you do.
Thank you so much. As you can all hear, the most important thing is getting that stance, getting that bachelor's degree, and then the sky is the limit, okay? These are what these mentors are here for you. If you want to go on a path that they have gone, not necessarily, you have to go all the way to Ghana and start. You're already here. But they will guide you. So that's what they are here for today, okay? We're going to take another question from online. It says, what are some things that separates your profession? I think this one goes to Mr. Edward. What are some of the things that separate your profession from the broad work of flight, training, etc.?
Well, I think as I indicated in my first in my interaction, what is important is to be passionate about your job. Passion kind of sets you out for success. Passion will lead you to be interested or inquisitive about everything that happens about your profession. And that dovetails into reading and learning constantly. In our job, we are constantly reading. Policies are changing every now and then. In a day, you can have 3 or 4 updates on one procedure. You go back to read on it, revise the procedure, and realize that, okay, the engineers who designed the airplane after 7 years of operation have discovered that this procedure is no longer good. So we are changing to that. So quickly it changes. Then you land in one destination, you're moving to another destination, another policy has changed. The company is saying that, you know what, going forward, instead of you making a call to this group of people, you now need to do A, B, C. So now these are things that keeps you on your toes all the time. And if you're not the type who likes to read, who likes to keep yourself abreast with, events in your job, then you're going to lag behind. And that will bite you really hard when you find yourself in trouble. Because nobody's going to forgive you if you flout any of the policies, because everything borders on safety. So it must be something that you are really excited about, that when you take your, the manual to read, you are excited to read it. Nobody's forcing you to read. So on your day off, when you come back home and your day off, you quickly pick your tablet, want to check the manual. Hey, what is happening? What new things are happening? Quickly update yourself, revise it, and know that, oh, these are the new changes. Because I tell you, when you go to work the next day, those are the things you're going to be talking about, right? So these are the things. I know a few people who want to think that, okay, I've gotten to this point in life as in my profession, so I want to let my guard down. And that will be too bad. That would be really, really bad. So, I mean, it's a constant learning, job. It's a constant reading, endeavor. So, yeah, thank you.
Question.
Yeah, give me one second.
Did any of you do any Did any of you do any internships, or did you guys just dive into your career?
I did internships. For me, I think I've been doing internships all my life. Even after junior high, I did internships. So internships for me helped me create a network. And internship for me made me gain hands-on experience. So it kind of gave me an edge over my peers because I was able to intern with companies and I could apply what I was studying in school and I could see where those relate in the job environment. So I would say go for internships. Volunteer even if you can. If it's not a paid internship, just volunteer because that is where you can apply the book knowledge and understand how it's being used in the real world. So yes, I did internships, and for me, I started right after junior high.
I would say I did only one internship. Back home in Africa, such opportunities are limited. So I work in the Tema aluminium plant. It was a professor that took me there. He had a contract over there. He wanted somebody to work with. So it's summertime, let's go. I didn't get paid though. There was nothing for me except my accommodation and food. So, but it was a good experience for me. Anytime somebody wants me to talk to about something, that is one of the places that I enjoy it and see what I've been taught in class, how processes work, how things are done. So internship is good if you have the opportunity. It's like the coordinator said, it's a networking, right? You got to meet people who probably you're going to meet after school again. And that will be a good setup for you.
Might I add that whilst you're in high school, please strive to join the various associations, the various clubs that are in your high school. It would spark your interest to do things voluntarily. And when you go to college or even before college that summer, if you are interested in IT, for example, apply to a company and tell them you want to come and shadow someone and learn and see if it's something you want to go study in college. Whilst you're in college, the first couple of years, you should strive to join organizations. I know of the engineering, for engineering, there is a National Society for Black Engineers. And in my field now as a telecom field engineer, there is a national society, there is a society for telecom and cable engineers. So these organizations have vast information to give you. There are many, many companies from the US, federal jobs to, small companies that are offering opportunities to minorities and especially ladies. Please take advantage of these opportunities if you're in high school, okay? And you will do great. Thank you.
Even adding a little bit to that, some programs will need you to have done some hours of community service, right? Some universities, some challenging programs. So that will help you gain admission into those, just in case that's still volunteering and trying to shadow somebody. And then that helps you get credit for some challenging university. I don't know if that still exists, but they always ask for voluntary service hours for some challenging programs. So that will help you as well.
Thank you all so much. The last question I have is, it kind of ties into what she was asking. It says, did you need to find any experience? If so, did you do it in person or virtual or both? How did you find them? I guess that's what we've been talking about.
And it's
It
just
says,
an open-ended.
did you need to find any experience? If so, did you do it in person or virtual or both? How did you find it? I guess.
I think this probably is the IT guys. So in engineering, you can't do virtual unless you're doing controls. Controls can do, but even when COVID was there, I have to be on site because we're building a new plant. And building a new plant, you have to be there, make sure right equipment are being put at the right place. They run at the same, like, while you design it, your calculations should match exactly what is in the field. So you can't be a virtual engineer. They are virtual engineers, but process, you have to be on site.
Yeah, I think that will appeal much to engineering. That will pertain much. I work from home, right? I'm a data scientist. At the company, the level at which I was employed, that's so many levels beyond entry level, even though that was my first job, because data scientist by definition has to come in at a certain level by virtue of the amount of body of knowledge that you bring with you and the kind of job that you'll be doing. But most of the job is portable. My first job as a data scientist, I was working I'm a consultant. I'm a data science consultant, actually. I work for a company that's based in San Francisco, California, but I'm here in Houston. So my first job, I think it was with EA Sports. I was consulting EA. You guys know EA? All these console games. I was consulting with them, and they were working on the Sims 4 project. I don't know if you guys know Sims 4. Yeah. So I was working with them. That was last year, September, October up to December. I went to San Francisco a few times, but I was mostly at home, and much of it was getting data where it resides, doing whatever has to be done. I was a data analyst there. And then building dashboards, helping people make policy decisions on the company, see where the company is going, the health of the project, make all those decisions. I didn't need to be there. I was home. I could have been anywhere. I could have been on an island having fun, but I just have to make sure I get on my computer. I make sure I have internet connection. Well, if I was out of the country, there would have been a problem, right? Firewalls. They want people to be inside. But the point here is the good thing, that experience can work for IT, like brother said. With IT, even before I got my first job, honestly, my experience was all virtual. I bought projects online, and I studied them, and I made sure I replicated those projects on my computer and had the results I had, and I put those on my resume. Come and prove to me that I didn't work in those companies that did those projects. You can't do that. And that is how I was able to get my first job, and I've been flourishing with that. So yes, with IT, maybe the benefits with IT is you can actually be a remote worker. Right now I work with the American Bureau of Shipping. They design ships, they have engineers, and it's all engineers. It's like a 10-story building, all engineers almost. And we are building a chatbot for them. Right? I'm building a chatbot like ChatGPT, but we're building a ChatGPT for them for their internal documents. So we're building exactly what you know ChatGPT to be, but that's customized for them for their internal documents. So that, because it's a company that has a worldwide representation, if someone is in India or in China or in Japan or in Greece, and they want to ask a question about rules, regulations, structure, whatever, like brother said, rules change every day. They build ships, right? So those specifications for the hull, for the ship frame, they change every day. Waters, rules, regulations for sailing some waters, all those change every day. So they want to know, if we are at night here, and someone was in China, and they need to know, can I sail the waters in the United States maybe? And the rules have changed. They won't have anyone to call and ask, but they will go to the chatbot that we trained using machine learning, AI, large language models as they call them, and they will key it in, and it's generative AI, right? They call it, it will spit out the answer to them. That, oh, these are the rules for this place, this is what is happening, it does all of that. So, which is what ChatGPT does, but for their internal. But all of that, I do it from home. I'm on my computer that they gave me, of course. I get into the network, and I do everything from home. I deploy the project from home, and everyone is happy. So yes, that happens mostly in IT. Yeah.
And I think maybe it would also come from, like, if you come out of college, most companies would go for asking maybe have 2+ or 3 years experience in the field. And you might think, I just came out of college and I don't have that experience, but you do. While in college, the internships you have, the volunteering work, colleges have conferences. Try and go to those conferences. That is also an experience. Some of these conferences offer like workshops or hands-on, like capture the flag, those kind of things. And you do get some scholarship through these conferences. You can use that as all experiences and put on your resume. So while in college, don't just go to college and tell yourself, I'm just going books for 4 years. Try and, let's say, well, there's something that says you don't let you don't go through the college, you let the college go through you. So volunteer, be in groups, join conferences, even the executive positions you hold in these various groups on campus. All of those can be working experience that you can craft into your resume, and it would give you more than 2+ work experience. So don't just go to college and go through 4 years without doing all of these things. And just like I've been saying, those YouTube stuff you've been watching, use them as hands-on, build labs. Those are also experiences that you can put on your resume, because companies want to see exactly what you can do. And you can use that as something that would show to them that I know my stuff because I have this lab. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much. I have a question here. It says, do engineers have fun? What do you do for fun as an engineer?
Everybody have fun. I do. I play. And when I joined my company, I started a football team. We play. We normally close 12 noon on Fridays. So there's a field right behind our complex. So I push everybody over there. We're going to play. and we have a very formidable team. Everybody enjoys it. So we do play, and we do talk among ourselves, even family issues, and people will come to you and tell you so many things that is not engineering related. It's personal issues. So we do enjoy ourselves. I do come to church every Sunday. I enjoy church. Thank you.
Anyone else? You don't?
I would say this, like he said, everybody has fun. And fun means different things to different people. Personally, the last 7 years has been challenging for me. Trying to start a business, traveling a lot, managing my own family. I have fun, but not much. So I cannot say and say, I've been doing this and doing that. You know, please don't get the idea that engineers don't have fun. We do have fun, but he has started his fun. I will get to my fun in the next coming years when I've built a team that will do the job I'm doing, and I can spend more time with my family and all. Thank you.
For me, my work, we always have fun. We have a table tennis board right at the office. We have a golf court, how do you say, a golf course, set up golf, yeah. So when you are stressed out, like if after maybe one of our clients wants us to do something and we don't understand what they want us to do, and like when you are stressed out, we just go and then play table tennis. So 1 hour of table tennis will just relieve you of your stress. And there's a team, like some of my colleagues also have their own. So we play together, and it helps. Because it's not always about work, 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 work. Some of them also like going to happy hour. It's a way of having fun. Like every Friday or within the week, they go and then they see somewhere. Yeah, it's like constantly. They go happy hour. Sometimes they use their company card. They don't pay. They just go and then they come back the next day. They don't pay anything. It's on the company. So it depends on where you are working and how you want to like distress yourself, because there's too much stress. I'm telling you, on the corporate world, when the pressure is coming and then when they want things done, I don't know how to go into that, but it's stressful. So if you don't add some of these things into it, man, you might come home and then you might even know how to talk to your family at all.
Please, and then, you see, there are stages in life where sacrifices need to be made. Please, put fun aside and sacrifice, because not all seasons are equal. Some seasons are better, some seasons are bad. But it doesn't stop you from having fun. But get yourself organized. When you are organized, all things fall in place. Thank you.
Yeah, so unlike the others, on my side, I actually get days off. I don't work, every day throughout the week. So I go to work, I come back, and I have days off to relax, interact with families, visit people, have some fun moments. So that's the one of the cool things about my job. You don't have to work every day. When you go, you come, you're on days off, and it's a fun day. So.
Thank you all so much. We're going to come real quick to find out thoughts from all of you. Oh, we have a question here.
Yeah, I want to thank Rena and her team for putting up this mentorship program. I feel like it's really, really good. And this is my first time of coming, and I'm really, really impressed. I mean, I know a couple of you guys, but I didn't know you guys do all this crazy stuff you're telling us, which I'm amazed. I'm into the healthcare. I'm not into all this engineering stuff. And I feel like if you guys can put your numbers out there so that our kids can be able to kind of call you guys up when they have any questions, they can answer. As my brother here said, most of our kids, you ask them, I want to be sociology. What is nonsense they want to be? Like, there's so much opportunity out there, but they don't get it. You know, American kids, but I feel like we encouraging them, we talking to them and telling them it's possible. I think they can be able to do it. My question goes to the pilot. I mean, I want my son to be pilot, but they are not going to be, man. I can only dream. So you said you went to military before you were able to go. Did you go straight away, or you finish your first degree, or how did you able to go in? Because I really want this one to go to military to learn something.
So I joined the military right after high school. And through the military, I got my first degree and my master's and all the training available for career development and development as an officer and a leader. So I got all those training over there. Yeah, but essentially, in the past, there's this myth that you need to do science to be able to fly. But that myth has been, how do you call it? It's no longer that, the whole myth around flying and, as if it's some strange thing, has been disabused. It's all science. Once you understand the science of it, it becomes a normal daily activity for you. So when I was joining the military at the time, you needed to do science. So I did science. So I got an opportunity to join. But now you can do business, particularly here. You can find yourself in the business line and decide, I know what, I want to switch to be a pilot. And you can become a pilot. What is important is that you have developed your mind to understand the basic theories of aerospace engineering. That's all. That's all there is to it. So yes, the degree is very important. It's very useful in the airline. You cannot be in the cockpit without having the first degree. So it's critical that when you get opportunity to do your first degree, go ahead and do it. If you want to fly, just get your degree done and go ahead and do your flying. It helps a lot. As Madam said, I was listening to her. She elaborated a lot on aspect of going to college. Because a whole lot of activity that happen in college that are a form of training you, building your leadership skills that you don't find, in other aspects of training. So that is why college is very critical for you to do the college. So I got my college degree. One, I joined the military. Of course, the military has a structured training program where you're not only a pilot, but they're developing you as a leader as well, because I was a commissioned officer. So there are various training programs as you progress in the ranks, which will make you to become one day a commander of the of your unit. Yeah. So I have done all those trainings to what level I've gotten to before I left, and aside doing my normal degree and getting my master's. Right. So basically that's it. Thank you. I hope I've answered your question. Right.
Yeah. And to answer the first part of your question, all these mentors that you have met here today, they're going to be on the professional mentorship website. So if you are interested in going the path of any one of them, their information is going to be out there. If you don't want to go to the website, I believe I shared my number and a lot of my information to people. So you can reach out to me or my sister here, who is my co-moderator, Brenda, and then we can definitely link you up with any one of them. We had a health session. We have them up there already. This is for engineering and IT and a special pilot here. It's not easy to get a pilot down here. They're always up there. Yes. So we're going to do some quick activity right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask our audience here, and Well, unfortunately, online you can't participate, but you can listen in. So, I'm going to ask a question, and then if you are able to get an answer, you get a gift. Okay? All right. What is the biggest takeaway that everybody said here today? If you have an answer, just raise your hand.
The biggest takeaway I got from today was to get your degree, although these certifications and online courses are good, like a degree would give you more of a blueprint of like what you're getting into, and it'll look better on your resume. So that's the biggest takeaway I got.
Thank you. Was that it? Thank you so much. You win a gift. There's another question. One moment. Okay. And another question goes again. What is the next question? Okay. Where do you go to find a mentor in this session? Well, in all the sessions. I think I saw that hand first.
You go to the mentor's website.
Was that the answer? And the professional mentorship website is going to be showing up here. They don't have it at the moment, but it's professionalmentorship.org, us.org, sorry. All right. Professional, let me make sure I get it right. Professionalmentorship.org, yeah. All right. Any question? Any last minute question? Going once, going twice? Okay, we're gonna have a final thought from our audience, final takeaways. We're each gonna take like a minute or maybe less than a minute to give a final thought. We start from our ladies here, since okay, so she's still thinking about it. So we will start from Mr. Chesa. He's part of the IT group. Mr. Chesa?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all so much, parents and students and learners and youth, for being here. I think the takeaway was a good one. Study. Do not be resilient. Do not always encourage yourself. Try to have an intrinsic motivation, right? Always try to have a big picture in front of you. If you don't have a picture of what you want to be, there's no reason to try today. Most people easily give up because they don't have a big picture. So always create a big picture. This is what I want to be tomorrow. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a lot of mess between now and then. But if you have a big picture, that builds in you intrinsic motivation. And that picture is the reason why you will go through all the contours you go through and you will not give up halfway or within your journey. So have a big picture, and that picture should drive your motivation. And you'll make it wherever you want to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesa. Mr. Mike?
So I'll also say you guys have the best of resources available. Like we are all here at church. Also, most of us have our numbers on their website. You can reach us out, talk to us if you have any questions after this program, and we are always ready to help you. Also, I'll say this. Don't stop learning, because the world is always changing, it's evolving. Today is this, tomorrow there's a new tech coming out, a new program coming out. So always be reading. Always be inquisitive. Always be like, what's going on? What's this program? 20 years ago, there was no chat GPT. Okay. So it's, by the time you guys even complete college, there might be a different technology we might not even know about. So always be learning, always researching, try to like be curious about it and know how to use it, and it will help you in your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyako.
I want to say, stages in life, there are certain things you need to do. If you pass that stage and you want to redo it, you have to pay a double price. So at this point in time, you are not entitled to work. You are entitled to eat, sleep, and learn. That is your job. If you wait and you don't do what you're supposed to do now, and you wait for the next 10 years to do what you're supposed to do now, maybe you will go through it, but it will take you a lot of your energy. And another thing is, never ever give up. Everything is possible.
Thank you, Mr. Nyako. Mr. Agbakwe.
Right, thank you so much. And I want to thank the organizers for organizing this program. It's been an awesome program. Thank you. And thank you all for coming. I know at your age, your mind will be playing a lot of tricks on you, trying to figure out what do I do in life. And this program is very good. Going to expose you to all professional lines available. So it's good I take advantage of them. And if you have questions, you will reach out and ask questions so that you can kind of plan your future. What I want to say is that when you figure out what you want to do in life, don't lock yourself on that, because as the discussion, it was indicated, things always change along the way. So don't be fixated on one line of profession such that if you're not able to do that, you are depressed, you are unhappy, and that sort of thing. Know that there are other opportunities. If the first opportunity is not the one that is going to work for you, quickly look at other opportunities. And that is why I think this program is very good, because then you also look at other options other than what your first interest is. You have a second interest, you have a third interest. And get into a line of profession that you are comfortable with. Something that you are so happy with. Because one other thing is getting the job, doing a line of profession, another thing if you're not happy with it. So you succeed in your line of profession when you are excited about it. So that is one important thing I want you to think about whilst you are, selecting your line of profession. Thank you very much.
My colleagues here have said it all. I have nothing else to say. Well, I would say keep challenging yourself, guys. Challenging yourselves, guys. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Whatever it is you're interested in, I always keep going back to yourself, you, the individual. What is it that you like? For example, my daughter wants to be a pediatrician, but she finds herself selling cookies, selling candy, selling this, selling that, trying to do anything for money since she was maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So, well, you'll be a pediatrician, but you might open your own pediatrician clinic, probably, right? So what is it that you're interested in? Pursue it today. The future is now. Like Auntie Edwina said, create a lab. What she means is, what is it you like? What is it? What is it you're interested in? Start playing. Have fun. Get the ideas of your friends and colleagues. Get the ideas of mentors to help you develop yourself. Okay, so challenge yourself. You can do it. You guys are smart. You guys are brave. Go for it. Thank you.
Okay, I think for me, I speak more for our girls and to our parents. we shouldn't limit our girls to just the nursing or health-related courses. Because for me, I think sitting back, I feel like I've loved technology all my life. I like to put things apart and put them together. But I think because I like talking, I thought being a lawyer was going to be what was going to bring me joy. But I sit today and I'm happy with the career I have. A career is something you wake up every morning and you're proud of. So for parents, I have girls. So look at your girl child and the boys as well. Identify the strengths that they have and harness that strength into something in the field. If it's something in technology, harness that into technology. Don't just push them into the health field because you feel like that is a safe space to be in. Because if my parents had pushed me into doing something that I didn't like, I feel like I may not have achieved what I've achieved now. They gave me the room to explore, which I did, and I can confidently say that when I look back at the projects that I have done in the field of technology and engineering, most of my projects have changed lives in countries. I go to these countries and I see what we've done, and I'm like, oh, I'm a girl and I did this. At first, I thought it was only men who could do that. But I sit back and I'm like, it took a girl to do this. I was able to design it, I was able to implement it, and it's operating successfully. So I get that joy in that as well. So parents, challenge your girl, like your girl child. Let them go into technology. Let them go into engineering. That is if they like it. Use that strength and then put them in technology, because technology is everywhere. Even in the health field, they'll still interact with technology. So for me, I'm for the girls. So let's just push our girls into technology.
Thank you all so much. And this brings us to the end of this engineering IT mentorship session. I can't speak right now. But we still want to go ahead and acknowledge and thank our sponsors. Our main sponsor, ICGC Praise Temple. We also want to, for making this possible, they gave us the venue and all these equipments to use. So thank you, ICGC Praise Temple. If you need a church home, they are right there. You can always go to them. We have the Houston Spine Institute also sponsoring. We have Prime Express Pharmacy, and then the Ghana Association of Houston also sponsoring. So we just want to express thank you to all our sponsors. We are done with today's session, but the main thanks goes to you, and I stand in front of you guys because really, if we have to pay you all for the 3 hours that you have spent with us, I don't know if we can even afford you. But you care so much about the youth and our community and what in the future when we are not there, what you want our behind, what our generations to be doing and making sure that everything is in order. So thank you so much. In HR, we call something pipeline. This is pipeline that we're doing. You put, measures in place such that if the primary person is not there, a secondary person can take over. And this is where we're starting from. So thank you all so much. And the biggest thanks goes to God because when we started this session today, it was a lot of challenges. But by God's grace, we have gone through it, and we give all glory to God. So we'll bring this session to an end, and we'll say a closing prayer. Shall we pray? Thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing us to the end of this engineering IT session, for taking us through successfully. We just want to say thank you, Daddy. We pray, Lord, that the mentors that we have up here, their experiences that has been shared will impact a lot so that, Lord, they can be able to follow up this path and become great leaders in future for us. This we ask in Jesus' name. As we're going out to our various houses, homes, and wherever we find ourselves, we ask you, Lord, that you will tar the road with the blood of Jesus and take us home safely. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you all and have a great day.